If nothing else, and it's probably nothing else, 2019 can at least go down as the year an extremely long-lived, industry-bending, smash-hit indie game slid into its 10th anniversary. Zombie Turkey Outbreak, but also Minecraft. Released to, let's just say, high praise, Notch's 2009 open-world cube-based survival game would see an immense amount of success in a period of unimaginable popularity, shockingly over his previous venture, Worm Online. As well as just being genius in concept, unique, fun, and extremely well made, it was kind of needed at a time where the AAA industry was all like, and when the indie scene was honestly lucky to get Zombie Turkey Outbreak. What separates it from just any other popular game though is that we're all still here. Now. Playing it constantly. Which is why I'm here now doing this 10 years later, taking a long hard look back at my life, asking the important question, what are you still doing? Also, why are you still playing Minecraft? Obviously, the short, easy, but boring answer is that it's just a good game, but there's no market for positivity anymore. Lately, when I play Minecraft, I found myself making various changes to the game and tiny, subconscious alterations to how I play and what I intend to get out of each world I create. Changes that are the sole reason I still play lately and that as a general concept I've always wanted to cover, due entirely to the realization of how insanely any game, not just Minecraft, can change by altering both seemingly tiny aspects and your mood while interacting with them. But obviously, having mods that change huge aspects of them kind of helps a bit. To understand how and why, despite the 10 years of burnout though, you have to first isolate the specific part that drew you in and kept you playing in the first place. At the time, Minecraft was literally the most open-ended game available, maybe second to fucking Microsoft Paint. Meaning that for the first time, I remember it being weirdly freeing, but on a mass scale, you can imagine how every player would run into any corner available and spend the most time with the aspects that appealed most to them. Like, for example, if you're creative, the first thing you built would have already been better looking than half the stuff polluting the London skyline at the moment. Or if you're in your 30s and care too much, you probably frequent a hardcore world well into its 5th year and never shut up about it. But for me, it was always the mystery. Here was this game made by some Swedish neckbeard that no one really understood or knew what to properly do with, both because it was so new and unique and that there wasn't a proper community presence yet. Stories of the far lands, cave jump scare, Easter eggs, brick pyramids, and not for a second forgetting our boy Herobrine, all contributed to an atmosphere in which everything felt like either at least a threat or genuinely scary because you fear what you don't understand. In a sense, not knowing anything meant that you didn't know how little there was out there to find and discover. The limits of your imagination was always going to be further out than the limits of system memory. Nowadays though, Microshaft unloads it all onto a nice long list of pre-release patch notes way after they've already plagiarized an existing mod, but I know that's not the game's fault, it's mine for reading them like I've already admitted to but still gonna complain about, along with my personal way of still enjoying Minecraft. So my step one was always realizing that Minecraft needed to be intimidating again. I needed to return to innocence, a time where the rush before nightfall was actually intense because the knowledge didn't exist that a 1x2 dirt hole is literally impenetrable. To reach that point though, I've always been against using mods, which sure only really makes it harder for myself, but at some point you're always just either playing a different game entirely or enjoying something that isn't Minecraft anyway. So it's kind of cheating. I mean, I still definitely use mods, but that doesn't count. So with that being said about outside features, step 2 is to go outside of the game and grab yourself a dark, realistic looking resource pack, because as much as I love this game, if you're looking to be intimidated, it'll probably help if you're as far away from the current branding as possible, unless you'd enjoy Minecon. My choice and personal favourite is always Doku Craft Dark, because it's that. Also, the health bar is skulls, which reflects my deep angst. Starting with the options available to you in Minecraft's vanilla state though, step 3 is to not go anywhere near any other setting than hardcore, because I'm a millennial. If anything's gonna make me panic, it's the risk of having to start again. My short attention span and lack of decent work ethic is just not gonna survive that. Optional, but something I cannot get enough of, is the addition of moody lighting for that same effect and a tasteful amount of fog, because I don't like seeing and play games exclusively to elicit the feeling of slamming my foot in a door. Which brings me to my personal selection of mods, that in my defense and why I feel they're optional is because they don't touch the game at all. I mean, the heaviest is probably Hardcore Darkness, which just makes nights darker again, bringing out that wonderful bone-crushing sensation of a door against my foot, but that's exactly the vibe I'm going for. It's a controversial view, but fear, tension and apprehension are not exactly positive feelings either. And to top it all off, I like to throw in some dynamic surroundings and sound filters, which just deepens the sound libraries and either filters or adds reverb depending on where you are in the game. Also, and I mean this in the most insulting way possible, C418's music could cure cancer and end war, which is why I usually just smash on a cryo chamber livestream. But in short and altogether though, the effect this mindset and these relatively tiny changes have on the game's complete transformation will never not cripple my understanding of how important they are. Because now the game looks and plays like this. 10 years later, Minecraft sure has changed since I was a kid and too poor to run it properly, and that it now does run. For the better, don't get me wrong, the additions and improvements they're making, despite being weird choices released pretty slowly and infrequently, are still expanding the game, and if only for a short time, keeping at least some level of that original mystery and excitement to discover the new content whenever it is released. Again, provided it hasn't already been shoved down your throat by marketing. Regardless though, discovering all of this not only reignited my long-lost obsession with this game, but completely changed how I now look at every game I'll ever play and even games I have already played, because I now finally have a justifiable reason as to why I controversially always preferred the PS1 port of Doom, which isn't even a sandbox game. You'd think there wouldn't be much room for it to be anything else. It's literally impossible to find a more unapologetic game than Doom, but still it blows my mind how just changing something as simple as the lighting, textures, music and your pace makes it an entirely different game. I mean, not a different game, but still definitely a completely different game. A game that I now enjoy way more because I've brought out the aspects that appeal most to me. There really is no right way to play anything, which in all is how I still enjoy Minecraft. Until I eventually get bored of that as well. Ruined it again.